Pod. Pod. Quad. Pod.
Hey everybody, welcome to Squad Pod Sports, where we bring you our latest thoughts on the latest games and news around the sports world. Brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network. Before we get into everything, make sure to like and subscribe right off the bat. Make
Please.
sure it happens. We really appreciate it. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of NBA playoffs still happening. A lot of games going on. A lot of teams eliminated since the last time we've talked. So, I mean, we'll be talking about that, some other NBA news as well. There's a decent amount of news. And then, of course, some NFL stuff has been going on. The big Julio trade finally happened.
Bad week.
Bad week. Bad week for you. And then, of course, we'll talk about the NHL playoffs a little bit because they're still going on. And then the bias bubble and crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. Right off the gate, right off the bat, man, we'll talk about it. We'll get it out. The Lakers,
Get it out the way.
Get it out the way. The Lakers, unfortunately, did not make it.
They did not.
They did not make it.
I will elaborate a little bit more in the bias bubble, but they lost 4-2 to Phoenix. Couldn't get past that game 6, and that was even in LA. I thought maybe that would help us, get past, but couldn't do it. It wasn't enough.
It didn't help that. AD he couldn't do it, man. He was in too much pain.
He shouldn't have even been out there in the first place, but I respect him for at least trying.
For sure. But yeah,
Devin Booker, man.
It sucks, man. Yeah, and they continued that run, so it just shows you that it wasn't just against the Lakers. This team is the real deal.
Right. Number 2 seed. You did call for them to be the number 1 seed.
By one game. By one game it happened. But yeah.
I just thought the Lakers could take them, but not as injury riddled as they were,
Yeah. And then Atlanta knocked off the Knicks here. The Mavs, man. The Mavs and the Clippers went to Game 7. The Mavs held it down for that first half, but man, Luka he doesn't have any help.
Exactly.
One man out here doing his own thing.
As soon as the Lakers lost, I'm like, okay, I want Dallas. Dallas out of the West, and then they lost. So
I was kind of hoping they would get out of the West.
I want to see the Clippers lose at this point. That's all I care about. I just want to see the Clippers lose.
Yeah, and apparently Porzingis came out, or the rumor report has come out that he's frustrated, that he's like an afterthought in the franchise, and he's not the co-star, and it's just he's not even there. He's either hurt and not playing, or whenever he is playing, he's not.
He is an afterthought.
Yeah, he's not being what he can be, what I mean? So it's hey, man, you got to help yourself in that situation. That's not really anybody's control except your own type of thing. Like
all those memes about him getting the pandemic P name handed to him. It's been great from Paul George to him.
Kawhi, he has shown up when he needed to these past 2 games. Yeah, just like a superstar. And then, of course, the Trailblazers got knocked off.
Unfortunately, Damian Lillard was missing everything at the end of the game. He couldn't, but he was the only one that was even doing anything in the first place, So
yeah,
I wish the best for him, man.
A lot of news kind of swirling around a couple days afterwards as well. The Blazers got rid of Terry Stotts after 9 seasons. Apparently, the rumor is saying that Lillard won Teammate of the Year this year.
Right.
And they get eliminated. But apparently, they're saying that he's gonna wait and see what the Blazers do this offseason to see what he wants to do going forward. That's the rumor. So who knows what's gonna happen?
I also saw they was saying something about he's not making any demands as far as coaching or anything like that. So
yeah. And I saw that apparently I saw something about he was interested in Jason Kidd, and then Jason Kidd came out and said sorry, I don't have any interest in coaching the Portland Trailblazers. Apparently he's in the lead running for the Celtics job though as of right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But who knows what's going to happen with Dame, man. If he can get traded out of there, that's scary to think about. Where's he going to go?
The only way he comes to the Lakers is if we give up AD. So there's no way that I see him ever landing on the Lakers, at least like while we have AD and LeBron. So I know
Yeah.
we're out of the running for him at least.
And with us giving Zach a max contract probably, and then like Vooch on there as well, I don't know if we're going to be able to take on that huge deal that Lillard has if we tried trading for him too.
Right. I think they said by the time it's like 2025 when his contract's running out, he's making
Yeah.
like 45 million a year, something like
Yeah.
that. Like,
He going to go to somewhere like the Knicks or someone like somewhere that doesn't really have like another superstar that like all
Maybe-
that money some on the books.
maybe a Phoenix or something like that, you know?
Oh yeah, because I mean, I did have that bit of news on here. Apparently, there was, I don't know where these sources. I mean, this was from Bleacher Report, so it has some sort of credibility to it. But apparently, CP3 intended to decline his 44 mil option.
Right.
And he is looking for a more multi-year, up to 100 mil for 3 seasons.
Damn.
Yeah.
Who? But from who?
No one knows. I guess whoever's the highest bidder. I
Not
guess.
Phoenix.
Not Phoenix.
I don't see him staying there with that. Like, not with that.
Unless they
demand.
win. Unless they like win a championship, maybe he'll like change his mind. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna pay that much for like an extended period of time for CP3. I mean, he's a great player, but he's also up there in age, man.
Exactly. Like $100 million. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, in other news, we do have our MVP of the season. They announced that today. Nikola Jokic. Congratulations, man. He earned it. I know there was a lot of like people saying Embiid, a lot of people saying like Steph, you know.
I know we did our MVP race at the end of the season there, but like Jokic earned it all year long.
Yeah.
Like all year. So
Yeah.
100% well deserved. Did you see the video where Adam Silver kind of interrupted their practice to
Yeah, that
announce
was
it
really
to him?
cool.
Right, it was pretty cool to see that.
And they actually came out with like the first place votes. I don't know if you saw that. Jokic had 91 votes for MVP. In second was Steph Curry with 5.
Ooh, man. Okay, so a
And
couple
then-
people.
Derrick Rose had 1 vote. Someone voted for Derrick Rose. Embiid only had 1. Chris Paul had 2, and Giannis had 1 vote.
Did you see that Tom Thibodeau won Coach of the Year?
Yep. Old
for the
Tibbs. I had
New
a
York Knicks.
fact about that. Apparently, he's the only coach to win Coach of the Year in his first season with a team twice. He did it with the Bulls, and then he did it with the Knicks now.
Nice. See, that's what I expect out of him, though. Like he kind of got run out of town. Like, but at first he'll be good. But eventually he'll get run out of New York as well.
Well, I mean, he just kind of got the raw end of the deal when he went to the Timberwolves, and they just weren't doing any. He even tried, like, he had D Rose again, Taj, and then he had Jimmy, and then that didn't work. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm glad he
wasn't
able
a
to
good
make it work.
fit. That organization, like, I don't know what's it going to take to get them over the hump, you know, even into the playoffs.
The Timberwolves?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, man. I mean, we were just talking last week about them sending D'Angelo Russell to the playoffs, like to the Lakers game
Yeah,
one,
I know,
just to
right?
see what it was like. Like,
Good
that's cold-blooded.
experience. I also saw something here about the shortened season having a huge impact on player injuries. Apparently,
Yeah.
apparently it was something like the data was showing, what is it, 5.1 injuries or players. What was it? The average number of players sidelined per game due to injury was 5.1, and that's the highest it's been since they started tracking it back in 2009. And they're saying that the health and safety protocols had nothing to do with that because it doesn't include those players that miss games for health and safety protocols.
Yeah.
So it was straight. They're thinking it really had to do with the shortened off season, the how quick all these games were played, all the hamstring injuries, all the things like that. You know.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
It
I just
really
thought that was interesting because the Lakers had like no off season at all. Same with Miami.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because, I mean, you saw AD get hurt. I mean, you saw a lot of people get hurt this season, like what you said. And, I mean, it's even worse now because there's guys that were already hurt coming back from injury that are getting hurt again in the playoffs, like James Harden now, who's out for game 2 that they said after going out within, like, the first minute of game 1.
That's the same injury that kept him out for a month.
Yeah.
Already, you know.
Yeah, so who knows what's going on there. They said it was just like hamstring tightness or something.
Mhm.
They didn't really specify. But I mean, it's not like they really need him right now. I mean, they're dropping 40, like they're up by 40 points on the Bucks, where we thought the Bucks were going to be bullying them around. So I mean,
Exactly. We were completely wrong about that.
completely
Speaking,
wrong.
Speaking of the Nets, we can slide right into that. Like the Nets and the Bucks, the Nets are already up 2-0, looking like they're going to sweep them right out of the playoffs and be sitting there waiting in the Eastern Conference Finals for
Atlanta
whoever,
or Sixers.
Exactly.
Probably the Sixers. It's going to look like.
I don't know, maybe.
Who knows?
I think Atlanta can beat them, but I think Brooklyn's going to storm through whoever they play in the conference finals.
It's really looking like it, and then maybe just have Harden come back in the finals.
Great.
Against whoever.
Against whoever, it doesn't matter.
Whoever, doesn't matter. They're probably winning the damn chip.
Right, but I honestly think Atlanta wins the series with Philly. Okay.
Okay.
And then I think the Clippers are probably going to beat Utah in a 7-game series.
Ooh.
It'll probably go to the wire. And then I hope Phoenix moves on and beats Denver as well, because I would like to see Phoenix, like, I don't know, there's something about it. Like I was saying,
I would like to see
even
Phoenix
when I was
in the
watching
finals.
them beat my Lakers, I was excited seeing them play because they were nice, So
Yeah, and I mean, and they looked even like just as nice in that game one.
right.
I mean, CP3 came out balling. He was hooping.
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. I do have some other stuff here. As far it says the Knicks have interest in getting Kelly Oubre, who was on the Warriors. So I mean, Warriors are probably looking to stack up this offseason. I'm sure they're trying to look to get somebody else.
Right. Like
to
at
bring
least
it.
some other addition in there, whether it's depth or not, because like you're gonna have Steph Curry healthy, Klay Thompson healthy, hopefully Draymond Green's fully healthy. So why not? Like they would have every opportunity to win the championship next year.
Exactly, and I mean they really need. Because I mean they were on the cusp of the playoffs this year, but man, they really need Klay Thompson back.
Yeah.
They need him to play at least into the playoffs if they're gonna like try to make a run for it.
Exactly. I feel the same.
Apparently, Luka said he's going to join the Slovenian team for the Olympics, and he says he's going to have no off season, no vacation.
No days off.
No vacation. And like apparently they asked him about signing a max deal with the Mavs, and he's saying, "What do you think?" So I mean, it's looking like he's going to be sticking around.
Now it's up to them to build around him.
Exactly. Interesting stat here. None of the 8 teams in the playoffs have won since the playoffs expanded in 1984. They never won a chip since 1984.
I have an interesting stat for you. Same one, but 37 last championships. So it's been 37 years since any of these teams have. Or
I know exactly what you're going to say because I had this written down too.
What? Go ahead.
About every finals has had a teammate that played with Shaq.
No, I wasn't going to say that, but I did
Oh.
know that. I was going to say, like, it's going to be a new champion in the first time in, like, 37 years, like, of like, this group of teams that have won it.
See, I didn't see that. That's crazy.
The lone team, Dallas was the lone team still alive to have won one of the NBA's past 37 championships. Okay. So, like, none of these teams have won any of the past 37 championships. So that's what it's like, a whole new field of 8 pretty much. But it goes back even further. Like none of these teams have won 47 of the last 49, 68 of the last 74. Like so it's like it's great. It's great to see this crop of teams in here, No Lakers, no Celtics, no
It's refreshing.
Spurs, no Warriors, no Heat.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually posted something about it on Twitter the other day where there was a lot of people, a lot of Twitter people, and a lot of even pundits kind of complaining about that, about not having big market teams in the playoffs and saying, "Oh, it's going to hurt the NBA." But man, I think it's refreshing. I think this is what the NBA needs in a way, is like you want to see these other teams compete. Of course, it's great to see like these top teams like LeBron and the Lakers battling out with who knows, I like another great team. But man, I like seeing some of these smaller market teams like the Suns, man. Like when was the last time the Suns were in competition for the chip? So
Exactly.
I mean, I would love to see that happen.
Exactly. I think it's a great thing too. Even like being a Lakers fan, I'd love to see. I love the stat like this. Like it's going to be the
Yeah,
first time for any of these teams in 37 years. Like that, like stuff like that. That's really cool.
yeah. Going off your 37 years though, 37 straight seasons. A former Shaq teammate is going to the finals.
So is that continuing?
Yeah, that's continuing this year. Apparently the three this year are Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, and Jeff Green.
All right, all right. So that's the Clippers. Where's
The
Danny at?
Sixers
Sixers.
and Jeff Green. Oh man,
Is he on the Nets? I hope he's on the
I
Nets.
think he's on the
because
Nets.
I don't think the Sixers or the Clippers
Yeah.
are gonna. So I hope the streak continues, man.
Yeah, Nets. So yeah, it looks probably gonna be Jeff Green in there. But man,
Right.
that's a crazy thing. Is it's like every finals has had someone play with Shaq. I mean, Shaq's been around.
There's been so many teams. Like I remember seeing that picture of him in all the different jersey colors, and like he's been every single color of the rainbow.
So yeah, the
Every-
rainbow Shaq.
Every single color, all these different jerseys. Doesn't even matter.
I think. Let me see if this is Gary Payton apparently is a new head coach at Lincoln University.
Okay.
He's head coaching. So that's
Yes.
pretty cool.
That's gonna be cool.
Yep. And the last bit of news I have, two things here. Orlando Magic fired head coach Steve Clifford. So I
Wow.
mean, Magic are in disarray already.
Yeah.
They just traded like all their stars or all their good players this season.
I don't
so,
know
I mean,
who's gonna take that job. Not gonna be
they're-
Jason Kidd.
They're heading for a full rebuild. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be rough. It's already been rough for a while in Orlando, but it's going to be even rougher.
At least Aaron Gordon got out of there.
Yep. And Vooch.
And Vooch.
But this is the first finals without Steph or LeBron since 2010.
Damn.
That's the last thing I have here. We'll leave off the NBA with that note.
Damn.
It's been 11 years
Since
had
neither
LeBron.
of them have been.
or Steph in the finals.
It's gonna be fresh. Here we go.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy, man. And I'm looking forward. So what were your predictions on the rest of these series here?
For the rest of the series here, I got Phoenix beating Denver in 6.
Oh,
Okay. Even though they're down 1-0 now. I got the Clippers beating Utah in 7. That's probably gonna be a 7-game series. Brooklyn's gonna win in 4, and then Atlanta's gonna win in 6.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm gonna call. Here, I'll write it down too. UTL 6. Brooklyn. What's your picks?
I think the Nets are going to sweep the Bucks. That right off the bat, I think they're going to sweep the Bucks. Suns are going to beat the Nuggets in 6 games.
That's what I think.
6 games. I think the 76ers are probably going to win that series against the Hawks in 7.
Okay. I'll write that down here.
And I think I'm going to go against you on this one too. I think the Jazz are going to end up beating the Clippers.
Okay.
And I can see that going to 7 games.
Gotcha. So I wrote all those down for our second round predictions here.
Nice. But yeah, that's all the NBA news I have. You have anything else there, Vern?
Nothing else to add there. You covered pretty much everything else that I had, like Joker, and we went over top Thibodeau, so we're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, we'll kind of move on to some NFL news. Biggest news of the week here. Julio Jones is now a Tennessee Titan.
Unfortunately,
Man, I know that you were really hoping that he was going to go to your Patriots. Apparently they were like really in negotiations for him. But I guess the thing that fell out with the Patriots and the Falcons were like the money situation is who's
Right.
going to take on how much money.
we were pretty much not going to budge on the fact that we wanted them to take on some of the contract, and I saw there was once they weren't willing to budge, we just kind of backed out of the whole thing. So they said the Patriots were realistically out of it early. They just didn't really know that, like the media doesn't know that always,
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I wish I would have known that.
The Falcons got a 2022 second round pick and a a 4 in 2023,
Mhm.
and they give their 6 in 2023. And the Titans
Okay.
got Julio, which like begs the question: why didn't like 25 other teams outbid the Titans for
And
this
that's
dude?
what I'm saying. Like they
Like,
were just like, nah. Like unless they got their eyes on another player or they're like
unless it was like
allocating
really
that
the money
elsewhere.
situation. But yeah,
Right.
but like if that's all it took for Julio, man, I feel like a ton of teams are probably kicking themselves.
I saw rumors talking about Bill Belichick's holding out for like Odell and shit like that. And like I
Oh,
don't know though. It's just
interesting.
but it's just but I did see that.
Yeah, and apparently Julio is going to be wearing number 2.
Cool. Okay. Was he
It's
wearing
in,
that in college? At Alabama?
I think he might have been wearing 8. I saw before.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess he's going to 2. Because the other dude on the Titans, the other wide receiver,
AJ Brown.
he has 11, and apparently he offered it to him. He's like, "You can have my number," and he's like, "Nope, don't worry about it. I got
Exactly.
you."
He's like, nah.
Yeah. And that's some news out of the NFL also. It's nothing official, but all signs are pointing to the NFL and NFLPA keeping in place the 2021. In 2021, several of the last year's COVID-related changes to roster rules, including unlimited faster return from IR and 16-man practice squads. So pretty much they're thinking about just having the IR where you can just pretty much put people on and bring them off whenever, I guess.
Right. That'd be pretty cool, you know. I mean, it kind of eliminates the whole purpose of the injury reserve, I guess. But like it would still be able to you would still have a roster spot free up, you know, so it helps you in the long run. But
Yeah.
kind of like I don't know, it's just weird that you could put someone on there now. It's like fantasy football where you can put them on and take them off, put them on, take them off, like whatever.
Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, it is weird. It kind of is like, what's the point of injured reserve then? Unless it's like, I guess it's there just so you can like have a roster spot.
Right.
You
It
know?
still makes sense as far as that goes. So
Yeah,
it's just
but that
like
means you just gonna have to just move somebody either to the practice squad or release them within
Right.
like 1 week
which they're used to.
or something, whatever. NFL will also be gauging interest soon with German cities to possibly host games in the future.
Okay.
Nothing is set yet, but the NFL has been seeing great growth in Europe with its UK series, which resumes with 2 games in London this fall, and Germany could be next.
Interesting. I wonder like where we'll be in 20 years with that. Like we got NFL games in Tokyo, like NFL games in Hong Kong, like you know, like that would be so crazy.
And then maybe like if it gets that big, maybe start seeing some like maybe international teams.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like and then the league, we'll see another merger.
Oh my God.
Well, hopefully we live long enough to see.
Then it will be like a
another
world
merger.
championship.
The World
Super
League
Bowl.
versus the NFL, like you know, and then that'll be the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, dude, that would be nuts.
That'd be crazy.
Because then you'd have to have all the NFL fight just to get to that one team to play whoever battles it out for. Like, that'd be wild, man. Because
But that would
like
be the playoffs. That'd be awesome.
that would be the playoffs, and then I don't know, would it still be the Super Bowl, or would you have to like do something different if that
It
happened?
would be the World Bowl or something like that. Like
Make the MLB change the World Series so it can be like the World
and
World
then
Series.
they'll stop caring about Super Bowls like they stopped caring about World Championships back in the day.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, oh, the Eagles won a Super Bowl back, and they're like, oh yeah, but you ain't win none of these world chips. all over again, because when we didn't have any Super Bowls, it was like, hey, we have like 3 or 4 championships, and they're like, well, they don't count. We had the Super Bowl era now.
Like what?
What?
That's the logic, though. Realistically,
That
like
is.
that's where we would be if
What have you
that
done
were to
for me
happen.
lately?
Exactly. People were like, "Well, it was just a Super Bowl." Like,
Tom Brady only has like 8 of them or 10 of them at this point.
God. But he didn't beat the world.
Yeah, he didn't beat the world. What did Tom Brady do? He didn't beat the world. Tom Brady gonna come out of retirement at like 50 just to try to win a world championship, just to say that he did it.
Probably will too.
Another news here: ex-Colts DB Malik Hooker visited the Steelers. No deal has been done as of yet that I've seen, but apparently he visited them. That's going to help them out a little bit.
Somebody visited the Patriots facility too.
Oh, who was that? I didn't see that.
Chris Hogan.
Oh, bringing him back, eh?
Nope, he just was coming around looking
Oh.
like talking to coaches, like talking to personnel stuff. He's trying to join that lacrosse league.
He's just hanging out.
Yeah, I was reading up on the article because I clicked on it because I was like, they're like Chris Hogan is reliving glory days at Gillette Stadium, and I was like,
I remember us
what?
talking about him going to play in like that lacrosse league.
Yeah, he
I
was just
like, oh,
visiting.
oh, back visiting with the Patriots. Who knows? Bill got
Well, he
something
was-
up the sleeve.
Literally just visited. So they're talking about like he was just talking to coaches and stuff, and
Okay.
like, there was no workouts or anything like that. It was just him coming around to the facility for the day.
That's pretty cool. Apparently, that's what Andrew Luck does from time to time with the Colts.
Oh shit, cool.
Apparently, he pops in every now and then.
And probably gives Jim Irsay a heart attack every single time. He's like,
They're like, hey, Andrew's here. Like, he's here.
he's here. Like,
It's about time, my boy. And he's like,
like,
oh
no,
no, I
no,
just
no.
came to visit, man. He's like, oh, what do you want? What are you here for? Apparently, multiple assistant coaches are refusing vaccines and will be barred from field and meeting rooms in the NFL.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and apparently they're saying that like anybody that doesn't have the vaccine, you're welcome, but you're going to be going through the same restrictions and same protocols you were last season. Like
Yeah.
nothing's going to be relaxed. But like, hey, you got the vaccine, you can come and go as you please, do what you want. But apparently, like coaches that don't do it, like you're out, like you could work here, but you're not going to be interacting with anybody, type of thing.
Yeah, we're still keeping you away from everybody.
Yeah. A crazy little stat here. And 74 of games that Matt Stafford has won with the Lions. 38 of them required a game-winning drive.
Mhm. Listen, I know I kind of talk shit.
74.
I did talk shit on Matt Stafford before, but I did also talk about how clutch he was and like how one of my favorite NFL moments is that like NFL Films clip where it's like hut at the end of the game and he gets tackled and he gets injured and he comes out for one
Yeah.
play and then there's like a timeout or something, so he ends up not even coming out. He comes back in and he throws a game-winning touchdown. Like
He's like
that's-
laying on the sideline where
Mhm.
he's like hurt.
But the camera is on him the entire time, like, you know, so like it's just so cool to see that, you know. And he actually went out there, he's like, no, that I'm coming out, and then he went out and threw the touchdown, won the game for him. And then as soon as he threw it, he was like
I remember
grabbing
you
his
sending
arm.
me that video. Because
Mhm.
I remember hearing about it at one point. I didn't see it, and I remember you sending that to me. It's a great piece of NFL history right there, man.
Exactly. Just that's why I like it, because it's just a great piece of
That dude's
NFL
tough.
history. Right.
The ongoing saga of Juwan James is still continuing. Former Broncos offensive tackle Juwan James filed his grievance seeking $15 million, hints at possible collusion between the league and the team.
Well,
And he has since signed with the Ravens. The Ravens signed him now.
how could the league and the Broncos be responsible for him hurting himself off team like campus?
That I don't know. That's like we talked about before. Is like I feel like he's fighting a losing battle here. Like, dude,
Right.
you signed the deal. Like, I understand it's a stupid rule where, like, yeah,
Right.
you're working for the job, but you're still off the facility.
We both like agree with the players where they're like, this is dumb. How are we supposed to work out? You know, but at the same time, if you sign a contract that says if you get hurt, not on the facilities, then that's what happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
not like it was something
I feel like
weird.
there has to be something they're not showing, like, the media where there's no definition of, like, oh, yeah, you're working for your job. Or, like, I don't know, maybe there's, like, no clear picture that says, like, oh, if you're working for, like, to improve for the season or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if
weird.
there's something. There has to be something in there that's, like, gave him and his lawyer something like, all right, may have a case here or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe there's
we'll
something in the fine print.
See what happens because it keeps going.
But yeah, he has since signed with the Ravens now.
Okay.
So, I mean, who knows if he's going to make the team there, but apparently they signed him, and he's went through the physical and everything. So
Okay.
who knows what's going to happen there. But, I mean, at least he found another team. He's not off on the street still.
Right. Right.
I don't know if you saw this, but this is a pretty crazy story. The U.S. Navy has denied rookie cornerback Cameron Kinley's request to delay his commission to play in the NFL.
I
The
did.
agency that represents him has said in a statement, Kinley, a Naval Academy graduate, is not permitted to appeal the decision. and he was supposed to
Exactly.
play for the Bucks.
He can't even appeal it. So like he's got to rely on some other counsel to like overturn it, you know. So
Yeah. Did you see the letter that he put out?
yeah, I read it.
Where he's like, says like there was like 4 other dudes within like not in the Navy, but within military branches that were given the go ahead
One
to
on
go
the
out.
Eagles.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
It's like
it's
why?
weird, man. Yeah. Why?
Why can't he like
He was working so hard to do this, in college, high school, but like I don't know, man. It's why?
exactly like why can't he just do his service in a couple years? You know, at least let him try to start his NFL career. Because if he comes back injured or something, then he's not going to be able to do this at all.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that sucks, man. Especially like you were gonna play for the Bucks. Like
Right.
you had a possibility at a Super Bowl. Playing with Tom Brady. But yeah, another saga that's continuing is the Aaron Rodgers saga.
Fresh news.
Training camp started today for the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is a no-show. And this wasn't the OTAs. I'm pretty sure this was the mandatory camp.
Mandatory camp. Exactly.
And he's officially a holdout declared. They can fine him $93,000 if he misses all 3 days of minicamp. A small sum since he's already jeopardized a $500,000 workout bonus by missing OTAs. I mean, it's up to the Packers whether they want to fine him or not. But he's officially a holdout as of right now. Devontae Smith and all the other wide receivers showed up. So, I mean, everybody came through except old AA Ron. So, I mean,
it makes sense, though. I didn't think he was going to.
Yeah, and I mean, it was all hearsay before, but now it's like reality.
Now it's real.
Where he's like,
He
all
didn't
right,
actually...
Aaron's not coming in.
Right.
And they asked LaFleur about it today, and he just said, all he said was, it is what it is. That they're like, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers not showing up? It is what it is. And it's, oh man, like these dudes worried. Apparently Jordan Love's not doing well at all.
I saw that
practice.
as well.
He had like a 2-minute drill, and he did terrible, I guess. Apparently Trevor Lawrence didn't do too well today. Apparently he was having some stiffness in his shoulder, and he came out and he threw 2 pick sixes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, uh-oh. But I mean, it's training camp. It's OTAs.
It's training camp, but I want to. Apparently, Jared Stidham's been on fire, but I don't want to hear nothing of it. I'm tired of hearing about Jared Stidham.
Well, I did see that like Cam hurt his hand. Apparently, nothing was broken. That was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that apparently he was out for a little bit. Like he wasn't practicing fully.
He should be fine, but they're saying he might not participate in any more training camp for now.
Until like the mandatory, the actual training camp leading up to the season.
Right.
This is a little intriguing. Mason Rudolph said it's his goal to be the Steelers' starting quarterback in 2022. He said, that's my goal, to be a starting quarterback in this league and for my team. So, I mean, does that confirm that Roethlisberger's gone after this season?
He knows that
Roethlisberger's
going to retire.
I feel like he wouldn't have said that if Roethlisberger was planning on coming back.
Because if he was just planning on beating him out for the job, he would try to say this year,
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as that happens, I don't think it's going to happen. I could see Dwayne Haskins winning that starting role over old Mason Rudolph.
We'll see. At least it'll be a competition.
Yeah, true.
Alex will have to deal with a QB competition for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I deal with it almost every couple of years. Man, the 49ers are having a terrible luck, man. Last year, they had their whole team injured for the whole season, and it's happening again before the season even starts.
Really?
Yeah. 49ers offensive tackle Justin Skull tore his ACL during Monday's practice, and safety Tarvarius Moore tore his Achilles during the same practice.
Oh, my God.
2 season-ending injuries for the 49ers in one day.
That's terrible. And this is June.
Yeah, and I think a week or two ago I said about one of their other players getting hurt. But I don't think he's out for the season, but I think he's out for a while. But yeah, the 49ers already off to a bad start.
Man, that sucks. I hate to see it, and hate to see it happen to the same team again,
Yeah, for
They were
sure.
in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah, and look what happened. I mean, and it's mostly this, I wouldn't say the same roster, but most of the same guys.
Yeah.
And it's just they can't stay healthy since that Super Bowl was like a curse or something. Broncos athletic trainer Steve Greek Antonopoulos is retiring after 45 seasons with the team.
Damn.
He is believed to be the longest tenured trainer with one team in NFL history, and Greek is the only person to be a part of all 8 Broncos Super Bowl appearances.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
This dude
That's a
has
cool
been
story.
around. This dude looked mean too. He got a big, big old mustache.
Mean
But
mugger.
shout out to that dude. What a career, man. He's been a part of 8 Super Bowls in 45 years with one team. That's
You've
loyalty.
Everything change in one franchise.
Everything. Dude got to see Peyton Manning come and win a Super Bowl.
John Elway.
But that's all the NFL news that I have that's not saved for the bias bubble. Here.
I had one thing that you didn't hit on, and I didn't think you would. Dak Prescott will be a full go at training camp.
Didn't see that. I knew he was a full go for the season. I didn't know he was full go for training camp.
Yep,
I missed that.
He's supposedly going to be a full go for training camp. So that's one thing that I'm actually very excited to see. Is
that wasn't on purpose. I know I'm biased. I don't like the Cowboys, but hey, it's our job and it's my job to report on all the NFL news. So I wouldn't hold that information back just because I like the Cowboys.
All good, but that's literally the only thing I
got
had.
to talk about the Sixers on here, and I hate the Sixers.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah,
right.
Not NFL news, but football news. Oh, Alabama extended Nick Saban's contract through the 2028 season. Saban has led Alabama to 6 national championships over the last 12 years, and he's going to be like 80-something out here winning national championships.
Bill Belichick turned 70 this year. Next year, I forget, he's 69 right now. So, like, how much longer? That's one thing I wanted to hit on in my bias bowl, but I'm glad Nick Saban's going to be sticking around because as much as I hate him sometimes where I'm like, oh, he's an amazing coach. He's the Bill Belichick of college football. So
yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure the college football teams and college football fans are just like, damn it, we got to deal with Nick Saban around here at Alabama. But I mean, I'm sure even if he left, they'd find somebody, and Alabama's still going to be like that school to go to.
Exactly. They would still find somebody.
Like Ohio State. But yeah, I mean, that's all that I have as far as the other news. We can kind of roll into the NHL here.
Okay.
The playoffs that are going on. As of right now, the Lightning are up 3-1 on the Hurricanes. They are playing as of right now. I don't believe the game is over. But the Golden Knights are tied 2-2 with the Avalanche. The Islanders are up 3-2 on the Bruins as of last night.
I know.
No bueno.
Oh.
And the Canadiens already won their series against the Jets. They swept them.
Right. How's Vegas doing?
Vegas are 2-2.
Okay. They
They're
came
tied.
back because they were down 2-0, right?
Yeah, as of right now, they're actually losing 2-0 in the second.
Oh man.
So they might be down 3-2. The Lightning actually won. So actually they just closed out their series. The Lightning are moving on. They beat the Hurricanes. So I mean, who knows here? We'll have to see what happens with the Golden Knights and the Avalanche, and the Islanders and the Bruins. The Islanders can close that series up here next game.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty crazy. So I mean, NBA's getting there, but NHL, man, it's going so fast as of right now.
About
I
to be
feel.
on the third round.
Yeah, they're coming up here soon. And I did have here the Hurricanes and the Lightning combined for 8 goals in the second period the other night. Yeah, 8 goals, dude, in one period. That's wild. But yeah, that's all the NHL stuff. There's nothing really exciting. There's no really storylines that are going on as of right now.
Right.
I mean, of course, we're going to talk about it. There's playoffs happening. But I do have just a little bit of outsider news. There's some golf news I know that you probably saw here.
Okay.
John Rahm finished his 3rd round of the Memorial Tournament with a 6-stroke lead, and the PGA Tour officials told him he had tested positive for COVID, and they pulled him from the tournament.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. I didn't actually see that.
Yeah, he had a 6-stroke lead, and there's like, hey man, you test positive, we gotta get you out of here, and they pulled him out instantly.
So he doesn't even get to finish. So he's
nope, he's done. He's out.
Wow.
After leading by 6 strokes, dude. I'd be so mad.
Having one of your best performances ever.
So, man, I'm on fire today.
He's like, if I got COVID right
We
now,
gotta get him out of here. I was like, what are you guys doing? They just
maybe
grab
that
him.
was the sports
What are
bookies.
you doing? Yeah. Like just like FanDuel and like they're like, he's fucking up all our bets. We gotta get him out of there.
Gotta get him out of here.
Gotta falsify a positive test.
Gotta talk about how this one dude in Montana somehow bet 50 grand on you with 1,000 and nothing odds to win, and he's about to get $15 million if we don't pull you. Like,
Bro, I bet that's what happened. And like, we gotta get somebody to like find a positive test, put his name on it. Switch him at the lab. We can't have this happen. They just said, like, I just imagine them coming in. They're like, we gotta get you out of here. They just throw a bag over his head and pull
He's
him out.
What?
They like tase him. He's out.
That's crazy.
But that's actually all the news that I have as of right now, except for the bias bubble stuff here.
Gotcha.
I mean, we can roll into that, man, if you want here. I know you have a lot of stuff you said for the Patriots, at least.
Yeah, for both of them here. So the Lakers lost 4-2 to the Suns, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
Getting destroyed. LeBron, first time ever losing in the first round ever in his career.
Yeah.
But he is getting old, so I mean, that is what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, he wasn't 100% either. I mean, I know the ankle was bothering him. AD was out.
Exactly.
Had
but
no help.
It don't make anything better. Make it excuses. They
True.
lost,
That's true.
So definitely don't want to make any excuses. But like I heard people talking about the short turnaround and all this, but yeah, you know what I mean. It is what it is. Like you're still in the profession, all these people were working just as hard as you. So
yeah,
word is good. Word is good this year. Markieff Morris wants to re-sign with the Lakers. I thought that was pretty okay. Him and Wesley Matthews apparently are very adamant about wanting to return. But people like Kuzma, Schroeder, Caruso.
I saw something about Schroeder saying that he wants to run it back, and I was like, the question is, does the Lakers want to run it back with Schroeder?
Want to run it back because after him turning down that initial offer, they're probably going to throw way less money at him this time. Yeah. To re-sign,
and for a good reason too.
Right. But this is the third time in NBA history that neither of the finalists from the previous year are in the final 8. I was like, damn. So bubble basketball, man. Charles Barkley might be right. But
he might be right about something.
You want to hear some interesting shit? Apparently, next year is the last year that we'll be paying Luol Deng. And we owe him $5 million still.
So he's still on your books?
I found this when I was doing my research.
He's been retired for a minute. For a couple years.
Luol Deng $5 million, and that next year will be the last year we pay him that. So then he'll be off the books.
Wow.
But like you were saying, Jason Kidd looks like it's either going to be Portland or Boston, even though I didn't know that he came out and said he wasn't looking for Portland.
So it's looking like Boston unless they find somebody else.
Right. So it's probably going to be Boston. And then I had the what if here of if Dame gets traded to the Lakers, and then I just can't take it seriously. Because I'm doing research and there's no way it actually
I don't know how
happens.
you're going to do it.
Exactly.
You're not going to have any other players on the team. You'll just have AD, Braun, and Damian.
It's literally just like a dream matchup. There's no way it could happen. So I just thought that was interesting to think about.
That would be wild, man.
If there was a way to get those three on a team together, that's like the Nets, But as far as the Lakers, or as far as the Patriots, Bill Belichick, like I said, 69 years old, going strong. They were talking to some of his kids, like who are coaches and stuff on the team, about like what they think about if he's showing any signs of slowing down in his routine or anything. And they're like, no, not at all. He's been fine. He's been coaching just as normal and
I'm sure Bill, the type of person that Bill is, I'm sure that he's welcoming the challenge. He's like. I'm sure he loves this, where he's like, all right, I have to build this roster to compete. And, I'm sure he's all about it now.
He's third all time on the wins list, trying to pass Don Shula for all time. And he would need to play probably, realistically, 4 or 5 more seasons to pass him,
I mean, that's not out of the question. I could see him coaching that long.
back in 2006, he was asked about a former mentor that he had was coaching into his 70s, and Bill Belichick was asked about it, and Bill Belichick was like, "There's no way I'll be coaching into my 70s," and that was in 2006. So like that's we're here. He turned 70 this year.
We're here.
So like we'll see what happens, but they're saying like he's got. Like, he just doesn't seem like the same, like, he's not going to retire. He's not going to just suddenly retire. Like, unless they win a Super Bowl and he rides off in the sunset. But if Mac Jones is actually a franchise quarterback for the future, then why not? He's got all of his pieces. He's got Matt Patricia back in the office doing things. Like, why not just keep it going?
Kind of has motivation. It's like, all right, I'm rebuilding this roster. Kind of got something to prove once again. He hasn't had that in a while where he's like, all right, we win in Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. What do I do now? Have a bad season, saw what that's like for like the first time in a while.
Right.
And he's like, all right, now I'm going to go out with all this money and build the best roster that I can and just make a run at it.
And rub it in Tom's face.
He rubbed it in mine last year.
Exactly.
I'm rubbing it in his this year.
He's got to get him back. It's ridiculous. But speaking of Bill Belichick, if you had to guess, going into this season, where would you rank him as far as the coaches? Head coaching rankings here. Where would you rank Bill Belichick going into the season?
You mean just out of all 32 teams, like current coaches?
Yep, just like where would you rank him going strictly into the season?
I put him in the top 10.
Where?
That's hard. That means that I got to think about who I'd put in the top 10 now, so to see where I put in. Because I would put like Andy Reid. All right.
Andy Reid is number 1 on this list.
Andy Reid is number 1?
Yep. Number 2, John Harbaugh.
Okay.
Number 3 is where I completely disagree.
Is it LaFleur?
Yes.
That's what I was questioning, because I would put him in the top 10.
Not number 3.
Not number 3.
Even
because I'm like,
McDermott.
it's LaFleur, but I'm sure a ton of that is Aaron Rodgers. Too.
Right. We'll see this year. Maybe that's what Aaron Rodgers is trying to prove. Like,
Maybe.
This is not LaFleur. This is me.
Maybe.
But number 4 was Sean McDermott.
Okay.
With Buffalo. Number
McVay.
5 is Sean Payton. Okay.
Oh, okay.
New Orleans Saints. They had Belichick number 6.
6.
The audacity. I'd put Bill Belichick at least number 2.
I would put him definitely higher. Put him in front of LaFleur. Put him in front of McVay. Wasn't on there, right?
No, McDermott and Payton.
I'd put him in front of Payton.
So maybe just move him up to 4 because you take 4
I'd
down.
put him in the top 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 4. But
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I just thought that was very interesting that they had Matt LaFleur number 3 and Bill Belichick at number 6. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't put LaFleur that high. Like, I know they went to 2 straight conference championships, but man, you got the bad man Aaron Rodgers pretty much calling the shots under center and doing what he wants to do.
Right. But anyway, did you see that Jay-Z and Meek Mill gifted my boy Robert Kraft with
I did. I want to know how they worked this out. Did somebody like Venmo the other like their part of the money? How did they divvy up all this money here?
I don't know, man.
How did they find this bet? I want to know how they coordinated this. I'm more interested in the coordination of it than.
Apparently, it was impossible to get this thing in the first place. Like for even Robert Kraft, he was like, "We were trying to get this and we couldn't. How did he even get it?" Like, so if this billionaire couldn't get the car, how did Meek Mill and Jay-Z like?
No people. They got connections.
But for his birthday, he got
maybe they had it built.
Car. I thought that was cool because I was
that
riding.
Is really cool, though.
I told you I went to Westchester like a couple weeks ago for work, and like I was just thinking about like Meek Mill because I was like closer to Philly, and I was like, it's cool how even though Meek's a Philly fan, he's real cool with Robert Kraft. Like that's just one of the random things I was thinking about in my car.
It is weird.
Home. You know, he's like super cool with Robert Kraft.
It is really weird.
But and then I see this and I'm like, see, there's still obviously Meek is still fucks with Robert Kraft. Like him and Jay-Z.
I want to know how they got. Like, I wonder if it was Jay-Z that got him hooked up.
It might have been because Robert Kraft, I think, had a lot to do with Meek getting out.
Yeah, because I remember like them hooking up like right after he got out. Right. I remember seeing the news that like they met up.
It probably through Jay. Probably like Jay-Z like was talking to Robert Kraft about how to get Meek out of jail.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, man. And they're
But-
like, Meek's like, I owe this dude. I'm gonna get him like this rare ass card, Jay-Z. I need your help.
Help, though.
I need your help. I need you to pull some strings.
But the last thing I had here was that we brought in Marvin Hall, former Lions wide receiver for the Patriots.
Oh,
So we'll see if he makes the roster, but the wide receiver room is just getting bigger and bigger right now.
yeah. That's just camp body. See if you can
Mhm.
make the team type thing.
Exactly. That's all I had for my bias bubble there.
Okay. As far as the Eagles go, they announced they've signed their draft picks. Devontae Smith, Milton Williams, Zach McPherson, Kenneth Gainwell. They also signed some pretty much all their draft picks except for that center they took in the second, Landon Dickerson from Alabama. My guess is they're just trying to. My guess is they're waiting to pick up somebody and then signing them with the leftover money. That's my
Right.
guess. Because they've been looking at Steven Nelson like crazy, apparently, like the corner from Pittsburgh. Apparently,
Trying to get him.
they're looking to get him in the building, which I really hope happens. But yeah, they signed all the draft picks. Devontae Smith he signed his rookie 10th overall pick contract. It is going to be 4-year, $20 million deal with a 5th-year option. And he gets a signing bonus of $12 million. That's all guaranteed.
Damn.
And that's just
a
for being
signing
that's
bonus?
for being a top 10 pick in the first round. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's why you get all that money. Like that's just the NFL contracts, I guess. They have to
Right.
have at least that. But yeah, $12 million all guaranteed for
Damn.
Devontae Smith. This
Right up
dude getting
front.
paid. Yeah, so I know we got this dude for 4 years, 5-year, at least 5 years option.
Mm-hmm. Team
So-
option.
Yeah, the team option. So man, I might have to get me a Smith. I was planning on getting a Devontae Smith jersey here. Well, next time we
Might
get,
as
we get
well.
some jerseys.
Not as well.
Apparently, I haven't seen too much on this, but this was a report from yesterday. I haven't seen anything on it since. But there's an internal concern about Fletcher Cox's future with the Eagles, and it's based off of his work ethic. And since he's getting older, they're worried about him wanting to put his all into keeping in shape and keeping like his body going forward. You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like they're worried about him keeping in shape and keeping up with his health for years to come. So I haven't seen anything on that since that report. Fletcher Cox has made like a cryptic message, pretty much kind of somewhat that can be taken denying the report. So I mean, it's rumors at this, so I'm not that worried about it.
Off-season rumors.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Fletcher is a great piece of the defense, but he is getting up there. He has, I think, the biggest contract on the team as of right now. So I mean, I've talked about it before. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles ended up getting rid of Fletcher Cox eventually. I mean, I would hate to see it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It's business.
Yeah, it's business. Eagles tight ends coach Jason Michael said he talked with Zach Ertz and he's kept in contact with him this spring. And Ertz was not a show at the voluntary spring practices, but apparently they've been keeping in touch with him. So I don't
Okay.
know. There's still no word. I haven't seen any trade rumors since. So, I mean, it might be looking like he's going to be on the roster come this season.
See if he reports.
Yeah, we'll see if he can always hold out. And the last thing I have here is Nick Sirianni had a press conference the other day after the last day of training camp of OTAs. He was a bit late for the press conference because he was having a 3-point contest against Greg Ward.
Sorry, guys. I'm late. I was having a 3-point contest against one of our wide receivers.
That's almost verbatim what he said. He's like, sorry about being a little late, guys. I was having a 3-point contest with Greg Ward. He beat me. I'm not too happy about that, but I'm here.
That's ridiculous.
That's
but
exactly
that's
what he
cool.
said coming in. And I was like, this dude just but I mean, his press conference was like, it's new. He's saying all the things he's been saying pretty much recently, just in a different way.
Yeah.
He's just pretty much preaching accountability, preaching just professionalism and pretty much competition. His thing is all about competition and competing to be the best thing that you are. And I mean, he has nothing but great things to say about Jalen Hurts. He's pretty much all but confirmed that he's the starter going into the
without
season.
saying it.
Yeah, without saying it. But he said that he's been such a natural leader. I mean, it seems like every time he asks Jalen a question, he says Jalen already knows the answer. Like, yeah, this is where it's going to go. This is it. Like, he already has everything down. And he's been working with Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor, who he thinks they're both going to ball out this season. He thinks Jalen Reagor is going to have a great season. There was a report that came out that Jalen Reagor was fined twice last year. I didn't know this. Jalen Reagor was fined twice last year for playing overweight.
What?
Yeah. He wasn't at the playing weight the Eagles expected him to be at twice last year, and they fined him.
Interesting.
And I was like, I mean, there was a lot of rumors last year about Jalen Reagor not giving his all and like kind of like, and I mean, it's starting to show. I mean, now I'm guessing it's looking a little better, but I'm excited. I mean, this is all just OTAs talk and everything. There was nothing really. I mean, the whole team showed up, but I mean, I'm sure I'll see a lot more, and there's going to be a lot more to learn come actual training camp time here at the end of next month. I think it's like the 27th.
Once a lot more starts happening.
When most of I think it's like all like 28 teams or 30 teams report on the 27th of next month. So, I mean, training camp's right around the corner and the season's right around the corner. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I think Nick Sirianni is going to be really, really cool. I mean, a lot of the players have nothing but nice things to say about him. Devontae Smith was on record saying that he's like that. Nick Sirianni is that dude you want to fight for because he tries to make you the best. He fights. He wants you. He tries to bring out the best in you by seeing what you're doing, and he works to that. And he's like, that's the type of coach you want to play for. And I mean, apparently what Brandon Graham and Lane Johnson have said is like Nick Sirianni is like a mini, like young Andy Reid. That's what they're saying. Because I mean, I think they both were around when Andy Reid was like right before he left, Brandon Graham and Lane Johnson. But man, that gives me a lot of good hope because man, it seems like he's a smart dude. Like his mind seems like he knows everything about the game. I mean, it's his first year as a head coach, so that's like the only thing that maybe gives me a little pause. But who knows, man?
It's like you said, it's his first year, so you got to give him time to grow and mess up. Exactly.
You got to learn as you go. Learn from your mistakes.
Right.
But that's all the bias bubble news that I have. Nothing going on with the Bulls. Nothing going on with the Flyers as of right now. So I mean that just leaves us one more thing, Vern.
Oh yeah.
That's the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast, and this one involves one of your ex-Patriot boys.
Okay, who?
Old Randy Moss.
Oh, my favorite.
Randy Moss scored 54 touchdowns in 28 games at Marshall and never played a college football game where he didn't score.
That's pretty crazy. Like even his first game, he went out there and balled.
And no matter what college game you go into to see Randy Moss, you saw him score a touchdown or score in some way.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 54 touchdowns in 28 games.
Imagine if you had an NFL wide receiver like in fantasy that you knew was good for at least one touchdown.
Right. Every
that
season,
dude would go
every
like
game.
top 10 in the NFL draft, in the fantasy football draft every year, even with all the running backs and everything.
Yeah, every year you get him. But yeah, that's crazy sports stat fact of the podcast, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one. I did have another one lined up, but I saw that like almost right before we came on. I was like, ooh, old Randy Moss, that's a good one.
I need to get an OG Patriots Randy Moss jersey.
Yeah, dude, I would love to get a Terrell Owens Eagles jersey. I can't find them. Like, it's hard to find them. I can find Deshaun Jackson, which I would like to get a Deshaun one eventually, but I would like to get a T.O. one eventually.
That'd be nice, too.
Same way with Derek. I would like to get a Derrick Rose Bulls jersey eventually.
Oh, yeah.
But they're hard to find right now unless I, like, go on and actually buy on NBA.com, spend the $150 for them.
Right.
But it is what it is. I digress. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to go check out all the other content we have to offer on the channel. Lots of new shows, lots of new content coming out every week. And make sure to go to Twitter and follow us at Squad Pod Sports. And yeah, we'll be here. We'll see everybody next week.
Peace out.
Peace.